sensual red. Not just red, it's sensual red.
I triggered something. But what?
I triggered something, but what?
I triggered something, but what?
Feel my wrath.
Feel my wrath.
Feel my wrath.
Let me see something. Good deal. Alright, refresh chat. Alright. I think we'll go with that. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me a second, guys. I'm making coffee. I'll be right back. Yeah, it is. Shit. Oh, yeah, it is. This is when everybody needs to play. Maybe a little dated, but yeah. It's got a bit of that, but it's more. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, there's some sort of similarities, sure. I was gonna say the combat's a little more brutal, but with Kingdoms of Amalur new very
Here we are.
hard or nightmare mode or whatever,
Farglow,
it can be
the place
pretty
where our
nasty too.
disciples become true dragon slayers. And today, the honor is yours. They are quite simple. Seek out the men and women who reside here and benefit from their knowledge.
See this? This is how I believe conversations should take place in games. I got spoiled to this in Oblivion, Fallout 3, New Vegas, some other games. And when you do the... Well, I don't know. I want to say there's one game I played recently that did the whole talk to somebody while you're roaming around without doing like a cutscene cam like this. But I still honestly prefer this.
That may sound a bit vague, but don't worry. Farglow will explain itself. Not completely, no. After the initiation, we will head back to Rivertown, where the ritual will come to its conclusion.
I think above and beyond anything else in this game, the game design is amazing. I even like the character and armor models and different stuff like that. Weapons, not so much. There's a couple that are cool, a couple that not so much. But that's like any other game, I guess, anyway. But the music is just so... It sets the tone for this. This is the type of game that puts me in the same mood or the same mode that Fallout 3 or Mass Effect or Dragon Age Origins or those games where you're in the house, it's summer outside, but you're in the house with the AC on and you got your chips and you got your whatever and you're just gaming and it's you're off in a whole nother place, you know? This is one of those games that does that.
But let's talk about that on the
I don't know why
second when we
people
head
even
back,
still
shall
call
we?
this a hidden gem. This shouldn't be hidden. It's a crime that this isn't one of those right up there. I guess because it wasn't published by EA, it wasn't published by Bethesda, it wasn't published by whatever. I guess that's why it's not up there with all the rest of the AAA titles that came out around this time.
Good luck, Slayer.
I want to see something real quick. I got 50 of 50. Nice. Look at this. I got 50 of 50 here. I think we did this on stream, so now I can just play. I don't have to go for any particular things. That's pretty cool. There's Oh, this was made by the same people. This one right here. If you ever played this one, this was a lot of fun. It was still it was an RPG in the sense that Diablo 2, Diablo 3, in the sense that those are RPGs. This was that type of RPG. It wasn't so much story driven, it was loot driven. I think there it is. There's the original. So I got those too. I complete game this thing twice. I probably honestly complete game this thing. As far as actual work done, probably 100 times. I don't remember any of the controls though, so this is let's pause. That's lock, right? There's even an achievement in here for the killer bunny. You have to kill like 40 or 50 bunnies, and no matter what level you are, this motherfucker comes in there about 3 levels higher than you, 5 levels higher than you. He's got big old fangs and shit, and he just destroys your ass. Honestly, just go YouTube it. The killer bunny from Divinity 2. I'm sure somebody's got it up there.
The disciple arrives. Let me bid you a fond welcome to Farglow. And I commend your patience. Most slayers loathe being referred to as a pupil. Such a belittling word, disciple is, wouldn't you say, for one who has since the age of 10 been groomed to become the elite of man's warriors?
You still got the body motions and the face expressions? Yeah, it's all dated. Yeah, it's all last gen or whatever. But the face models and the way they talk and the expressions they make, I will take that over a lot of shit that I see these days that are all super high tech, but everybody's mouth looks kind of like unnatural, like their teeth are too big or sunk back in there. You know, there's something about modern. Now, some of it's really, really nice and it looks realistic and all that, but I prefer that the character of the character come across as opposed to just a bunch of photorealistic looking shit, which usually doesn't come across as photorealistic anyway. They try very hard to get human expressions just right. And honestly, I'd rather have the impression and for it to give me the feel and flavor of the game, like in Dragon Age Origins or even Dragon Age 2. Not Inquisition. I think Inquisition took a step backward, even though they raised the bar as far as character creation went. I think the overall impression, the overall look, just doesn't really cut it. Doesn't feel like a game in a lot of ways. And I'm no per se retro gamer. I just say modern games have sunk a lot into doing a lot of things that I don't think they really make up for simply just putting together a particular style and just carrying that over in your game, like your art style, your writing style, your personality. Look at Fallout New Vegas. It's got almost a completely different personality from Fallout 3, even though it uses the same damn assets. When you put all those together, you know, it portrays a certain impression. And I would take this over a lot of newer stuff. Not all of it. Some newer stuff is just fantastic, but most of it, waste of time. Put your efforts into writing and making a good game. Put your efforts into artists and creating the illusion of you know, like Mass Effect, where the character models are horrible in some spots. Even the new remastered version, it's still bad in some spots, although they improved hair a little bit. But overall, it's pretty bad. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The overall impression, it fits the game. You associate it with the game, and it doesn't stand out. Like, whereas you have some games nowadays where, for example, the facial features, the hair, the character models will stand out because the game, as far as the rest of it goes, sucks ass. But, oh, they did skin really, really good. Oh, that dude's beard looks photorealistic. Okay, but how's the game? Oh, it sucks. But the character models look fantastic. You know, that type of thing.
But don't you worry. You earn the title of Dragon Slayer soon enough.
This was a very low budget game too.
Couldn't have put it better myself. In fact, I have but one thing to add. Morgana is waiting by the waterfall. Find her, and the purpose of this day shall become crystal clear. And you, Slayer.
Alright, so I don't know if I should tell you guys this now. Some of you know about this game, some don't, so I'll just assume that for those that don't, for those of us that do, we can just smile and nod. But basically all the elements of the game, aside from, you don't really have crafting in this one. You don't need it. It's well, I'll take that back. There is, yeah, no, there's really no crafting per se as far as that goes. But you have kind of a Diablo loot system. You're picking up so much stuff that you'll eventually, part of it's chance, and part of its specific types of gear. Merchants will carry stuff, and so on and so forth. You have a whole bunch of different elements that I think a lot of RPGs now, they just take some of them and apply them to their game and still call them an RPG. This has just about all of them, pretty much, except for like an optimal super duper uber crafting system. Not really. You can put some things. I mean, there's still crafting. There's still some. You'll see, but it's not. It's kind of not what you think. It's kind of different. But as far as your gear and stuff like that, it's more or less set. I do believe there's some things you can apply to your gear later on that will enhance it. I don't think they call them gems. I think they call them something else. They're not gems. They're not runes. They're something. Anyway, like talisman type of thing. Yeah, well, you'll see. But they put so much into the game itself that it's hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe to me that it's a low budget game. Left, right. Take all. Okay. I'm trying to remember slowly. Kick the shit out of chickens. You kick the shit out of them. I can't do anything with all these people yet. Oh, when it comes to
Hail, disciple. How are you?
when it comes to builds and stuff,
You haven't seen
the
Morgana yet,
skills
have
here,
you?
skill trees, and you have attributes as well, and each one is very particular to exactly what you're trying to do. You know, magic and dexterity and so on and so forth. Man, you know, there's a thousand things to say. I want to wait till after we get to this part right here. Okay, so now that we've started the game, all right, we're here and we're gonna come in here, and all they've told you up to this point is that we're going to. I don't know. I was gonna ask you guys that in a minute, but it's not fair until we look. Two-hander is fun, but dual wielding is basically the same thing. It's just stronger. Dual wielding, basically, once you get a weapon in each hand that you can buff as many times as you can one weapon, it becomes a little stronger. It doesn't have quite the range, but pretty close. So it's I don't want to call it an oversight in the game, but I think they should have buffed the two-hander a little better, seeing as you don't have a shield. So you're going all offense, but if you're going all offense, dual wielding with two one-handed weapons, which just have slightly lower damage than your single two-hander, it's kind of like in Dragon Age Origins, a bit of an oversight. Two-handing is pretty much irrelevant until you get halfway through the game. You might as well just go dual wield. You might as well, or shit, even sword and board, to be honest, in Dragon Age Origins for that example. It's not that it's not doable. It's just it's not efficient. It's not the best to do. So in this one, it's a bit like that. If you want to have your big two-handed weapon, you could totally roll like that. But this one, dual wielding is far better if you're looking for a build. If you're trying to min-max. I'm not a big mage fan, but there's a lot of magic in here. You can the necromancy. You've got like two different kinds of it, actually. You have summons, offensive and defensive summons. And then you have a creature which will follow you, and you can find pieces. You can even buy pieces for your creature and make your creature even stronger. Oh, archers. Archers are really OP in this. In fact, archers that you face in the game are really OP. Yep. There's archery, there's dual wielding. I guess you could essentially go unarmed if you really wanted to. You can. You can do everything. Pretty much. You can do necromancy, you can just do straight sorcery. You know, nothing but fireballs and magic bolts and shit like that. Mango, what's up, man? So, as far as just pure stuff, I'm not a big fan. I think ranged is... It's not necessarily cheap, but it's definitely easier. Mage and archer is definitely easier. So melee will not only test your build, but melee keeps you on your toes a little bit more, regardless of how you do it. Dual wield is usually kind of the go-to. That's what I've gotten the best results out of, for the most part. Nice. You still have your mana and your health, like you would in any other game. Your mana is very much like it is in Dragon's Dogma. In that it's basically like it's your ability to it's the power for your abilities as well as the power for your spells. Spells and abilities are both considered magic. Like if you do some fancy flourishing thing with your melee weapons, that's not some natural shit. That's considered basically a spell as well. This is Divinity 2.
No. To combine that brew with last night's herbal distillation might cause an implosion. Try it anyway. You can be so irresponsible sometimes.
In my opinion, the voice acting in this is
That's
incredible
easy
as
for you
well.
to say. You can't die a second time.
Hear the music?
Good to see you, disciple. I am Morgana, the Archmage of Fogland. No, of course I wasn't. I was talking to Toro, the ghost of a long-dead mage. No need to give me that look, either. You'll soon see him for yourself. But let's turn to the reason you are here. The ritual that will make you a true dragon slayer. To be a slayer is to hate the dragon, but also to understand it. No other
You'll get
order
some
in
of those
Riverland
vibes.
takes
This
the
is
old
a game
military
that's right there.
know
It's
your enemy
that caliber of game.
so seriously
It's right there with Dragon Age
as the
Origin. It's right there
Academy
with.
does. To attain this goal, I will infuse you with the memories of dragons. It will make you
There's things you can do in this game
understand
which you
their
don't really do in any other
motives,
game.
powers,
I'm not saying it hasn't been done
and
somewhere else,
weaknesses.
but this incorporates a lot of things that. If you've ever heard me say this game needs a remaster more than any other game ever made, ever, I mean that like 1,000 to 1. Like you'd have to show me 1,000 other games and then give me 1,000 reasons each why it needs to be remastered before this one. Because this one, if you can imagine up to date like animations and graphics and shit like that, as beautiful as the art design and the attention, the effort, the artistic effort they put into this game, and you were to just modernize it, oh god, with a bunch of extra processing power so they can do a bunch of cool shit, and wouldn't
It will
change the game at
also
all.
colour your
Just give it a
eyes
facelift.
silver, the noted
Like look at that water in the
characteristic of
background. And
Slayer, which will
You'll
enable
see.
you to see the spirits of the dead. The ritual has a side effect, but nothing can be done about that. The real drawback is this. The spell was not originally designed for the brain of a human. So to make place for it, you will lose your active knowledge of your years as a slayer.
Okay, so check this out. And I do not know another game that ever did this. Okay, if you've ever stopped to question in an RPG, why is it I know how to cast fireballs now, even though I've never cast one before, simply because I picked the skill and I hit level 12. Now you can cast a fireball. Magically. Well, it's magic, and you just kind of just blow it off as that. But there's no real reason why you should know how to do these things you've never done before magically just because you've experienced shit that has nothing to do with what you're doing. Right? If you've leveled up doing a whole bunch of alchemy, how in the fuck do you know how to assassinate somebody with a backflip and a fucking dagger now? It makes no sense, right? You just kind of just brush it off and don't think about it. This game actually gives you a reason. You don't know what you've been doing up to this point, where you're at right here in the game. You have no idea who you were. You have no idea what you've been doing. So your character is your own. Now, when you receive these dragon memories and they replace and they wash your memory away, you're not learning new shit, you're remembering the shit you already knew. And the skills you choose and decide just put you back to where you were, essentially, at the beginning of the game. Does that make sense? So, I don't know another game that's done that. That takes, you know, when you have to ignore certain things that, like, you know, holes in the plot, where you have to ignore them so as it doesn't ruin the overall story. This one kind of fills in those gaps and gives you a reason and excuse for what you're doing.
It's unpleasant.
Unique, in my
I
opinion.
realize that. But a slayer needs those dragon memories in order to operate. The only comfort is that your powers still persist on a subconscious level. So, you'll regain your skills rather
Oh, and another thing they did here, and what year was this game? It's got to be here somewhere. I want to say this was 2009 or 2010. Might have been a little later than that. Like I said, it wasn't real high budget. (2009). So this is now 12 years old. This came out right around Fallout 3, right there with, I think Origins came out in 2008, right? Dragon Age Origins might have been 2009, so it's right around there. Oblivion had already come out, and they were definitely influenced by Oblivion, just creating an open world here. But, and I'm not going to say they did it better than Oblivion, but it's bigger. There's a bit more variation. No, it's different. It's not better or worse. It's just different. But it was definitely inspired by that. Like the entire grandiose open world thing. Well, you'll see the map. I think this map is bigger than Oblivion or Skyrim. Pretty sure, because there's several areas, and it's not just the ground area. You got to consider the air too. So yeah, well, you'll see.
Becoming a dragon slayer is a harsh occurrence, but you will become one of Riverland's greatest heroes.
All right, so why am I losing all my skills just to do this?
The memories not only give you more insight and knowledge than a man could absorb in a century of unbroken study, they also protect you from mind attacks the dragons perform. Without that, you'd be a puppet doing
Right, so it basically mentally puts you on par with a dragon so that you can't be turned into a, what do they call it, a pawn or whatever.
But now, you have equal mental strength, so dominance in combat can be achieved.
Why do I have to undergo, after graduating, all those years were for nothing?
No, they haven't. Your training has made you a force to be reckoned with, and has shaped a mind that rivals the wise teachers of old. Lesser people would be driven mad by the dragon memories. Only one as arduously trained as yourself can
All right, so,
absorb
so they made sense. They make it make sense, you know?
Take comfort in the fact that slayers like Rode and Marius have faced the same ordeal and went on to become mighty warriors. Then prepare to become a dragon slayer.
Oh yeah. When you get to
And
start
that's
the
that.
game with cool-ass glowing
You might
eyes.
experience some dizziness for a while, some disorientation perhaps. The journey starts again, my friend. Your path is an empty page ready to be filled with tales of wonder, of adventure. But before you trot out of here in search of dragons and distinction, make sure you meet the veterans here. Alberic, Aravir, and Gawain know more about their trade than anyone you are likely to meet. And don't forget Isabel. The gift she will share with you, aside from the dragon memories, is the most prominent one you'll receive in Foglow. Divine blessings, Slayer. The last
I like
ingredient needed to achieve the effect
I
of
like
luminosity still
the face
eludes
animation stuff during
Maybe we could
dialogue.
have some
And
firefly.
look at this ghost. Look at that hair,
What's the
though.
matter with you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Ah yes, there's that famous wit of his. Slayer, meet Toril.
So formal, yet relaxed. Most are chilled to the bone the first time they see a phantom. Most ghosts you'll meet are there because of unfinished business. The strength of their will not to move on until that business is settled is what binds them to the material world. In my case, it was my passion for alchemy. I will not find tranquility until I have fathomed all its innermost enigmas. Could take a while
Take
still.
a while.
You know where to find me.
The last ingredient needed to achieve the effect of luminosity still eludes me.
Maybe we could add some fireflies.
That might solve the brightness issue, but
Oh, and this game is brutal about saving. If you've forgotten to save for a while, shit's been going easy, it's all going good, then you get one-shotted by some shit because you step out of bounds and walk into a level that's 2 areas higher than you. I'm level 8, they're level 10. What's the big deal? Bam, bam, and you're dead instantly, and you haven't saved for 2 fucking hours? You can kiss all that and everything you found and everything you did goodbye and try to remember where in the hell you were before you died so unceremoniously. And if you don't like the look of your character, like, they give you a chance to dialogue, they give you a chance to talk, see what your character looks like in the game world, it looks like in cutscenes, and if you don't like it, you can go change. You can go from male, female, you can change everything. Just whenever you want. I don't remember if they charge you for it, I think they might. Okay, so before we do anything else, we want to go mind reading. Yes, there's mind reading in the game too.
I see you have met Morgana. That means we can proceed. Do me a favor and think of something, anything, but don't speak aloud. I'm flattered, but I'm afraid this is neither the time nor the place for frivolities.
You hear that,
and
guys?
frolicking.
This isn't the time or place for frivolities and frolicking. As much as we want to frivol and frolic, we can't, because it's not that time.
Surprised? Surely you have heard of the gift of mind reading that dragon slayers possess. Maybe you have also wondered how they come by such an amazing ability. The answer is easy. I bequeath it to them. Of course, it is one of the reasons you are here. Now stand still. and look into my eyes. There you go. The secrets of all shall be revealed to you.
1 XP.
Nice try, but you can get out of my head now. Not even Morgana can read my mind. Be aware, though, strong minds are difficult to read and come at a cost. So you will have to work on your skills if you want to.
Alright, so here's like an entirely new loot system. There's rewards you get. It could be the secret to a hiding place to find money. It could be getting a merchant to drop their prices. But it costs you a certain amount of XP to read their mind. Some people, it's like 1,000 XP just to read their mind. And so you can put yourself in a hole. You can actually put yourself like 5,000 XP in the hole, where you have to gain 5,000 XP just to break even before your meter starts increasing again.
It was a skill given to dragons only until a scroll was discovered that bore the spell. A slayer found it among the ruins of a Dragon Knight's citadel tower, and we have used it ever since. Fare thee well, Slayer.
Alright, so like this guy right here. Merchant.
What's that I hear? The sound of a newly stocked coin purse? Let's trade then, Slayer.
3 XP. Oh, shit.
My prices may be steep, but who can blame me? It's not like I'm vending on Rivertown Market. Don't I know it, Slayer? Don't I know it? But what can I do? I run a small business. Tell you what, though, I'll give you, and only you, a special discount. So, spend some extra coin, and you'll get a little something extra as well. Oh, music to my ears!
A very cheap welcome this is. Alright, so you start this with shit that you're not going to need, and by the time you hit level 15... Hey, Hester, what's going on? By that time you hit level 15... you'll have your own stuff that you want in particular. I mean, you could hang on to it, I guess. But right, so he's got 3,100. So what we want. All right, so in this game, Luminaire. Oh man, this is. If you want to ask me, this is right there. Probably, I no doubt top 5. I almost want to say one of my top 3 favorite, or 4, it's top 5 favorite games of all times, because I have different games that I like for different reasons. Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Mass Effect 1, Dragon Age, Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dark Souls. Dark Souls I wouldn't put in, I don't play Dark Souls for the same reason I play Fallout 3, for example. And I don't play that for the same reason I play Mass Effect 1. Those are 3 completely different animals. Same genre. But just, it's like, if you have 3 best friends, which one do you like better? Well, they're all 3 your best friends, but they're completely different people, right? Same thing. This is right there. I'm not going to sit here and say I like this better than any of those, but I certainly like it as much, most definitely. There's so much to it. It takes you, a playthrough can be up to 100 hours, easy. That's even without the DLC comes included with this version of the game. The Dragon Knight Saga, that's basically, it's Ego Draconis is the original, and this is like, I'm playing Ego Draconis right now. After the end of this, there's DLC areas, and it's just they're not necessary. They don't really give much more lore as far as that goes. This game is like, if you can imagine a very, very simple story, told from a lot of different viewpoints over a long period of time. That's kind of what this game is. And another cool thing on top of all the other magic that this game is that it's got a twist at the end of it. There's a plot twist. And it's like completely convoluted, and it's like, holy crap. And it's if it hasn't been spoiled for you, you're like, oh shit. Wow, you know, and it kind of gives you like this epic scope of how things were, what led to this, and how things are going to be and stuff. If you've been, you know, following along with the game, it's not super codec lore heavy like a Dragon Age game or even a Mass Effect game. It's not really like that. You're following the story more like you would in a real world, getting snippets of history from things, which in a sense is kind of like a Dragon Age game. But there you're uncovering all this stuff. Here you're following along and you're learning as you go, and you're kind of part of the grand scheme. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's its own unique thing. Anyway. All right, so I'm gonna sell all this shit. He's only got $5,000, right? Oh, and see, look, this thing is worth 3,100. You get 1/5 when you sell shit, 1/5 value, and everything, of course, costs 5 times as much, right? Well, if we have similar tastes in games, and you just love the shit out of this, wait till you hear the music and catch all the different areas and fight all the different stuff and find out the shit that you actually get to do. And the game, like, it doesn't really go act 1, act 2, act 3. It goes in kind of like phases. You don't really ever leave the game world. It just expands. You're playing through a huge part of it's the culmination of a bunch of history, a bunch of stuff that's happening right here, and you're right at the pinnacle of it, and you wind up being this key part of it, and you get to witness all this shit. And as the game grows, you grow with it. And when I say grow, like, the only thing that doesn't justify how epic the shit is that happens in this game is that the graphics don't do it the justice that it deserves. They did the best they could with what they had here. Remember, like I say, this is 2009. This is like early in the 360 days, right? So they didn't have the capabilities, and I don't even know if these guys are even around anymore. So I don't know if this ever gets remastered. I don't think. Hell, it's not even backwards compatible. This game isn't even recognized. This game should be recognized like Dragon Age Origins or any Elder Scrolls game or any Fallout game. This should be right there. There should be people, there should be a cult following for this shit. Should be. But, oh well. Anyway. I mean, I can't speak it up enough. And if it sounds like I'm shamelessly just kissing its ass, well, that's fine. I'm actually shamelessly kissing its ass because it's just that good. I gotta remember how to get through all this shit. Alright, so you look at, Alright, to get an idea of what the game has in store for you, take a look at, like, this is level 15 shit, which is kind of mid-game. Take a look at the stuff. Alright, so you have melee armor rating, magic armor rating, you have ranged armor rating as well. You can, enchant. You can use an enchanter. So this is where crafting sort of comes in. You can use an enchanter to add certain effects to your armor, and there may also be, they're like rune slots, but they're not gems either. I forget what charms. There'll be charm slots, which call it rune slots. It's the same thing. You'll have charm slots, and you have certain charms that do certain things. They add to certain stats, give you specific whatever. But you also have enchantments that usually give you percent chances of different stuff on your gear. And so you can start to stack those things. Like if you really want to do one thing really well, you can do that. If you want to do a little of everything, you can really do that. If you want to be a ranger who shoots fireballs and summons shit, but I don't know, maybe pulls out a sword every once in a while or something, I mean, you can. Like any other RPG though, you're rewarded for sacrificing one thing to strongly pursue something else. You know, like if you're going to go ranged, go ranged. If you're going to go magic, go magic. sorcery and necromancy can kind of go hand in hand, but you can make up for a lot of your lack of sorcery with strong summons. And you can have a small army around yourself. Like, you can wind up getting up to, like, I don't know, 6, 7 creatures and summons around you and basically tell them to charge, you know? Or you can be a whirlwind with your dual weapons and all that and run around and just destroy mobs kind of by yourself. Depending on how you take the damage, you can go kind of a Reaver type thing where you take damage and do damage. You can do a lot of shit. Wait, give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, if you check out the different stuff, we'll run into a lot of that. And this is also incorporated with your skills to decide exactly how you want to build and what you want to do. This is Xbox One. It's the disc. It's the disc. All right. Okay, so I can get rid of all this stuff. Anyway, stacking some things. Ranged seems to be one of the better ones. But then, if you get hit with a ranged weapon that has something like an explosive or a poison arrow attached to it, then I think it's both ranged and magic comes into play there. Well, let's sell what we can till he's out of money. Alright, now. Alright, and also, let's see, range damage, critical chance. Probably a charm in that, or a charm would give you have charms for that. You have charms that'll raise your dex, that'll raise all kinds of stuff. There's some attributes which will include critical chance and say range defense. So, you know, instead of like, say +3 critical chance, if you got a charm for +3, say dex, I think dex is that attribute, then you'd probably take that so you can get the range defense and the critical chance or something, you know, that type of thing. And split damage is amazing. Split damage on weapons. There's a lot of stuff you can start enhancing both kinds of damage. Here's a two-handed weapon. That's not bad, actually. These actually, I could put these on right here. Yeah, I can put these on right now. So usually how I like to go is I like to go kind of like I do in say, like, I don't know, I could say it's Dragon Age Inquisition, for example, or whatever, is lighter armor that really emphasizes critical stuff. Dex. Dex is ranged is mainly medium. Magic is mainly light stuff. Although there's not really a lot of light armor in the game, I don't think. This would be heavy. This would be light. And I don't think there's any specific shit like robes and stuff. I'm not saying there aren't any in the game, but I don't recall a lot of that. It's pretty much lighter stuff and then heavy stuff. But why don't I, Yes. Wow. +1 to vitality. I didn't even see these. Shit. Oh, shit. Alright, now, what I'm going to do is... I've got money to burn. These are huge. Anything I want to sell back. And that's what I've got equipped. Now, here we go.
Another one to add to the collection.
Oh, hold on. Did I sell all my other junk? Give me a second.
Come to buy more goods?
We good? I think we're good. I left him with 1,000 gold too. That sucks.
I sell only quality merchandise at competitive prices.
On this one, I wouldn't recommend playing on very hard ever on this one.
Some other time then, Slayer.
What it does is it breaks. It's like every blue moon you'll get a very hard fight, which is essentially, you know, enemies have more health, they hit you harder. It's not real complicated. But I'd say 60% of the time, maybe even 70% of the time, you'll either run into enemies that you're one-shotting instantly, that are maybe your level or a level higher than you. You're just one-shotting them instant. You know beyond a shadow of a doubt you're not supposed to be killing them like that. You hit them for 50 and they die. You're like, what the fuck? And then, not just 5 minutes later, you may run into an enemy that one-shots you instantly. Like, I don't know, just a fucking basic skeleton or some shit. He'll just hit you once and you lose all your health. You're instantly just fucking destroyed. And they don't hit that hard. It's not because of a critical. It's literally because for some reason, very hard, this is where the game's supposed to be, and it either goes so far out there that you can't see it, or it's so easy that you can't see it. It's broken. I mean, like, it's broken. We tried 100 different ways to fix it. It's playable. It's playable. It's not a whole lot harder than hard. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because you really don't know what you're getting. It's like all over the map. And I mean, like, I'm talking a boss. A motherfucking boss. Like, with a different colored name and extended health and all that. I'm talking about hitting him once and him dying instantly. And no, you're not supposed to be able to do that, ever. And I mean, I'm saying, like, if you have no, like, super damage stats, you can still be a relatively low level. And all of a sudden you just bam, bam, and it's dead. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you turn around and run into a bunny rabbit and it bites you once on the ankle and you fucking disintegrate. So, yeah, it's just broken. I don't know why. I don't think the original Ego Draconis had a hard. Now, it's possible if you play Ego Draconis on hard and then push it to very hard in the DLCs, maybe. I don't remember if there was a very hard mode in the original. I kind of don't think so, because I remember playing it maxed out then on hard, and there not being another harder difficulty. It's how I remember it, but I could be wrong.
You can read minds. Your eyes are silver. The initiation is almost done. I'm proud to know the new Dragon Slayer.
Alright, so with this mind reading shit, what we're gonna do first.
Sonia is so curious to see what's in that chest of mine. Little does she know, I hid the key near her little goblin campsite in the arena.
And you, Slayer.
Okay, we have to have that. Alright, so what do we want to do? Like I say, archery's a bit boring. Magic is cool, but you'll run into enough mages to see the magic in the game. Shit, almost everybody shoots some kind of magic at you, pretty much. I always preferred melee, and I know I'm narrowing it down. Can you use the mind reading? There's no card game in here, but yeah, I guess you could if there was a card game. Strongly suggest, how about this? Just either dual wield or two-handed. Dual wield is stronger because dual wield allows you two weapons to enchant and buff and so on and so forth. The two-hander is doable. It's actually a little harder. You don't put out the same damage. You just don't. It's really not possible. I tried getting the absolute best of the best of the best with a two-hander, but it's still doable. So let's just pick one of those two and make it easy. Yeah, you don't really see many doing it because essentially sword and board is it just adds more armor buffs to you. It's not really used as a weapon, and you're just cutting down your damage. I mean, it raises your defense a little bit, I guess, but in this, I guess, I don't know. Most fun. Two-hander and dual wield are both equally fun. It's just dual wield is stronger. If you get that itch halfway through the game to see what kind of damage you can really do, then dual wielding is the way to go on that. But yeah, two-handed warrior is fun because you get the big two-handed weapon. So you got that too. We're gonna have to wait. You don't see any two-handers until level 5. I don't think you can actually equip one until level 5. Unlike Dragon Age Origins, where you can start with one. In fact, I think they do start you with one if you play a human noble, and it doesn't do you any good because you can't hit anybody with it. Miss, and you're swinging it at 1 mile an hour, right? Unlike that, here they don't even let you have one till level 5 because, well, it just make things harder on you, I guess. But I gotta go here in the next minute or two anyway. I'll try to get it on later tonight. I told you guys I had to leave at 5. I wanted to get this started. Like I said, two-hander's cool. You can still build into it. It just doesn't it doesn't have as, it's just the damage is lower. That's all. But it does look cool. So, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's beyond cool, man. Oh, there's the key, and then there's somebody's chest back here. Oh, the key is for the chest. Never mind. Never mind. I'm just half remembering shit.
Your eyes shine brighter than they did before you came to Farglow, Slayer. Gawain's the name. Old Paladin of the Divine Order. My life has always been that of the blade. It is an art I will teach you, should you want me to.
I don't want to learn melee skills. I should like to remember my melee skills. You see? Like, it gives you a reason for leveling up. Now all the skills that you pick make sense because you used to have them. You basically had any one of these skills that you choose, and you're basically following the path that you already had before you even started the game. You just don't remember it.
Excellent. I'll give you the warrior powers and a sword. Find Sonya. She provides the live targets around here.
Alright, so you get to choose. You want gold or experience? Sometimes they give you two choices. I always take the experience, usually. It's pretty much you can't change lost experience, but experience is diminishing throughout the game. If you kill something that's your level, you get that amount. If you get a level higher than it, you get a much reduced amount, and it eventually diminishes to basically nothing. And so you can't like farm XP. If you run in at level 5 and somehow run into a level 10 area and are able to kill anything without being destroyed, even on probably easy, let's just say you do, and farm all them, they may give you a huge amount of XP. Everything you kill between 5 and 10, like say you do that, and each time you kill one or two things, you level up and you get up to like 12 or 13, then come back and fight the level 5 and 6 shit that leads up to that area, it's going to give you 1/10 the XP, and you'll still be at the same spot you were had you not ever done that. So it doesn't really allow for grinding. Oh, and another beautiful thing about this game is once it's dead, it's dead. I mean, it's dead. No respawning. No, that's it. Once you clear the world, there's no magical respawns. Pretty cool. So, I mean, I'm just as good off, honestly, just getting the, taking the gold right now just because. I mean, I always take the XP. Really, but there's really kind of no point. Because each time you mind read, you lose a bunch of this. Although gold really isn't. I'll take the XP. Fuck it. That's not enough gold to really worry about. There's another.
Someone has a new shine in the eyes.
And a frown on the face.
With good
Now,
reason.
You can simply just watch. You can simply just hold down a button
It took me
and
years to
immediately
cast
go to
a
your
decent-
mapping and figure out what you want to do. Like, alright, so I held down A,
Fireball again.
so I can choose A to just be simply my melee attack.
Really? Took me but a few weeks. Then again, I have natural
You can
talent
eventually
galore.
apply skills that, as long as it's on cooldown, you just basically go to melee attack, and then when the skill's ready, you can use the skill again. So you can fill up kind of all 4 of those buttons. There's no second slot, so you have those 4 skills there. go. And this is very much like Dragon Age Origins as well. You can recognize the menu. It's very similar. It looks different, but it's still similar. Alright, so this is dual wielding. Right? And it procs your attacks back and forth. What time is it? I really had. I was supposed to go 5 minutes ago. Means I'm gonna have to take a really quick shower. Here, you know what? I'm gonna save. We'll pick it up from here next time, okay? And there we go. I've really got to go. I thought we could maybe at least get through the tutorial, but that's cool. No, I'll see you guys too. I will try to, if I don't know what time I'm gonna be back tonight. I gotta drive halfway out of town, and we'll be back later. If I can't tonight, then we'll get started on this tomorrow. And I'll try to stream. We'll try to get a long one in tomorrow. But if I can get on tonight, then we'll get in some hours this evening too, and go off in the morning and do what we normally do, right? Anyway, man, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support, everybody. Cheers and all that cool stuff. And Luminaire, I don't think I thanked you for that. I don't think I did. I don't think I saw it. No, I'm sorry if I didn't. It wasn't being thoughtless. I just didn't see it. My bad. Thank you for the support, everybody, and all that stuff. I'll try to catch you tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow. And this. Well, if you guys haven't seen this, it just gets so much ridiculously better that, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Anyway. All right, see you then. I'll catch you guys later. Y'all take care. If I don't see you, then have a good weekend coming up and all that. But I'll try to get you guys tonight and or tomorrow, all right?